And now I would like to introduce Katrina, who was a summer fellow at the NRDC this past summer, and she can talk a little bit about her summer experience and her experience with the application process. Thank you for joining us, Katrina.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me. Hi, everyone. My name is Katrina Hagedorn. I am a master's student, second year in Atmosphere and Energy, which is in the Civil and Environmental Engineering department. I graduated from undergrad in 2020, spent some years in the industry, and then came back to get my master's degree in 2024. I decided to apply to the Schneider Fellowship with NRDC because I really wanted to work for a global nonprofit and see how that contrasted with small nonprofits and large corporations, which I worked for in the past. I think that whenever I think about summer internships and fellowships, there are three different types of learning that you can receive from an internship or a fellowship. One is education. You're going to be learning on the job. You're going to be doing things you've never done before, and that will facilitate your learning, obviously. The second is exposure, and that's part of the reason why I wanted to join NRDC for the summer, because I wanted to know what it was like to work for this large nonprofit, to work in the policy space. And then the third thing that you could learn would be networking, which is incredibly important to all of your careers, including mine. And I think that was something that NRDC did really well. All of the staff were incredibly open to meeting with you. I cold emailed probably 8 people while I was working at NRDC, and all of them answered, all of them emailed back and wanted to meet either in person or virtually. We went out to lunch every Tuesday together as a group, and overall it was a stellar experience as far as interpersonal interactions go. Additionally, the staff themselves are incredibly knowledgeable in the policy space, in the environmental space, and I think that was something that I really got away from my fellowship. So as for my role, I was on the California Climate and Energy team, which works on California climate and energy policies, if that wasn't obvious. I did a few different projects, but the main one was working on policy recommendations for California's clean energy and reliability procurement requirements for utilities and other energy providers in the state of California. As far as the application process went, I bulk applied. I think that applications are about numbers. And so I applied to all fellowships and internships that I thought were interesting. Thankfully, one of my top ones with NRDC, the California Climate and Energy team, I received. Something that I think that they really want to hear from for the Schneider and Schultz Fellowship specifically is that they have these fellowships available because they want to facilitate learning. You know, they want to be a mentor for you all, and they want this experience to be valuable for you. And so whenever you're thinking about writing your cover letter, about doing an interview, think about how that experience will really fit in to your trajectory, and why will it facilitate your growth? Like, how does it fit in to your studies, to your aspirations, to your career? And why do you want it? In addition to, of course, how you will succeed in the role and how you're able to work independently and things such as that. Are there any questions?
We'll also have space at the end, but any immediate questions for Katrina? Okay. She'll be around. And then we can introduce some staff. We actually have a typo. It's not Laura Young, it's Lauren Kubiak, who's on the Zoom with us. And also Sam Perez, who is part of the HR team at NRDC. So maybe we can stop sharing the slides and invite them to join us. I think Sam is going to speak first. Sam is in charge of NRDC's internship program, so she can give us a general overview of what the internship program is like for the summer, as well as the one-year program. She's also helping us with that as well. So I will turn it over to Sam.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to speak about NRDC's fellowship programs here that we have, and the long partnership that we've had with Schneider. So just a quick introduction of myself. I'm Sam. I recently rejoined NRDC. I was on staff about a year and a half ago and recently rejoined in this opportunity to take over our internship and fellowship programs. Big reason why I rejoined is because I think NRDC is a really great place to work. So I'm excited to be working with you all here. So a little bit about the program. So our summer fellowship program spans about 10 to 12 weeks, working about 35 hours a week directly with our programmatic teams. Our year-long fellowship program is over the course of a year and also is working about 35 to 40 hours a week. Why we like these programs is because they really provide an opportunity for you all to get exposure to the real world workings of advocacy in the environmental movement. A lot of the teams that you would be working directly with would be working with advocates who are working on the ground and have exposure to these opportunities. And it also provides you the opportunities to learn from experts. Many of the folks at NRDC are really seasoned professionals in their fields. You get strong exposure to the professional working world and development and networking opportunities that you might not find elsewhere. In terms of what we offer, so we offer several different kinds of programming and development opportunities. The first is cohort building. So especially over the summer, there are a lot of opportunities to build cohorts with the other summer internship programs that we have. So you're able to network with those folks and more broadly with the institution. There is programming done in partnership with our learning and development team. So one example of that, we have a Learning with Leaders series where throughout the summer, the organization and leaders at our organization speak really directly with our internship classes. We have access to our LinkedIn Learning platform, and there's career development. So at the end of the seasons, there's a resume building session with our HR team where you can learn how to add this opportunity to your resume and get tips about how you might want to craft your resume for future job opportunities. And in terms of what we look for, so every opportunity at NRDC is different. If you don't feel like your experience lines up exactly with the positions that we post, we still definitely encourage you to apply because there's so much to learn and gain from these opportunities. Generally, if you're interested in a position, what we might look for is someone that has really strong communication skills, someone that wants to be on a collaborative team, that frequently work with other departments, someone who potentially wants to do work that spans several different initiatives. And if you are mission-oriented, values-driven, and you want to take advantage of this opportunity and grow, this is probably a good opportunity for you. So I'm really excited about NRDC. We do a lot of great work. We have really flexible, human-centered culture, and there are a lot of folks here that are especially seasoned in their field. So it's a really great place to develop and build strong networks with folks. So with that being said, I would definitely encourage you to apply. And I think after me is my colleague, Lauren Kubiak, who is a senior advocate on our climate and energy team. So I'd love for her to talk to you a little bit about her specific experience as well.
Great, thanks, Sam, and great to see everyone here. I'm Lauren Kubiak. I'm on our California climate and energy team and actually had the pleasure of managing Katrina this past summer. I can speak to the Schneider Fellow experience a little bit from the fellow perspective and from the manager perspective. I actually started as a Schneider Fellow 14 and a half years ago in the New York office, and despite NRDC's best attempts to get rid of me, they were unsuccessful. Just kidding. But I've been lucky enough to stick around, and I've worked on a bunch of different teams and have been on the California team for about 3 years now. So I've worked closely with Schneider Fellows and had the opportunity to manage 2 fellows now. I don't think the job descriptions are out just yet, but as Sam was mentioning, there's really a variety of different types of roles. Some teams have very specific needs. Like I think the industrial team is putting in a job description looking for someone to analyze the chemicals industry, which is one of the most polluting sectors in the economy that also doesn't have a great kind of idea or trajectory of how to decarbonize. And some job descriptions are a little bit more flexible. My approach in the past has been to I work on both industrial and power sector decarbonization in California. So my approach has been to write a relatively open-ended job description and then kind of work with the applicants to figure out kind of who the best match would be. And since there are so many different regulatory proceedings that we engage in and types of legislation that we engage in, there are a bunch of different topics that fellows could work on. We really do kind of incorporate the fellows into our core team, even though 12 weeks always kind of rushes past. There's a ton of contribution that both of the fellows that I've managed have made. Even we had a fellow about a summer and a half ago who did a pretty robust analysis on California's cap and trade program and how cement is treated within that program. And we're filing comments today to the Air Resources Board that incorporates some of her analysis. So fellows have a lasting impact on the organization. And I think it's a really great experience, both for students and for NRDC as a whole. And really excited to be here speaking with you today. Happy to answer any questions. And I'll turn it back to, I think, Ben.
We can open up for questions. Do you have questions for our speakers? Now it's time to ask. They're the ones selecting. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Emily. I'm kind of curious about mentorship opportunities within the NRDC that are sort of outside the direct like intern or like fellow manager relationship. So like there are the mentorship opportunities with like people like senior people on like other teams. So just sort of curious to hear about what that programming generally looks like.
Yeah, I'm happy to take that question. So that's actually one of the things that I'm hoping to build into the program. We don't have that opportunity formally just yet, but as was mentioned earlier, senior leaders at NRDC welcome the opportunity to talk and speak directly with folks. So we don't have a specific mentoring program opportunity, but certainly everyone's inboxes are open and their calendars are open for those direct conversations with leadership. It's something that I'm hoping to build in the coming year.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, my name is Kayla, and I was just wondering, like, as someone who's coming from Stanford, like everyone's that coming from Stanford is gonna apply. It's like, how do you make your application like stand out? Like everyone's gonna have like, similar experiences, similar like, hopefully like letters of read transcripts. Like, how do you make your application stand out to work at NRDC?
I think that's a great question, and I'm happy to field it. I think even though it seems like people have a lot in common since you're all at Stanford, I think that everyone, having reviewed maybe 60 or so applications, like everyone is very unique. And I think something that's really been compelling for me is emphasizing the why in your cover letter. So like all of you are smart, all of you are excellent students, but really clearly communicating like, why do you want to work at NRDC? How will this contribute towards your ultimate career goals? What is interesting to you about the sustainability world and decarbonization generally, I find very compelling.
Anything else? Now is the time. Any questions?
Questions for us too.
Yeah, I think we're going to have the NRDC job descriptions up hopefully next week for the summer at least. And so check back on the website. You can definitely see what they posted for last year as well. There could be some repeats, but Sam is in the process of contacting the various departments at NRDC to see who would be interested in hosting a Schneider Fellow. Yeah.
Okay, sorry, can I ask another question?
Yeah,
I'm
great.
curious for the 1-year fellowship, how if at all, if the job descriptions and like the work sort of differs based on location.
That's a really great question. I think it can differ on location based on specifically the work that the person is doing. So we have some work that is considered quote unquote place-based, some work that is very closely tied to being in a specific location. I'm not certain what the former fellowship job descriptions looked like and if they were very specific to place-based. I would say that for fellowships and internships at NRDC, we try to keep the opportunity pretty broad. So we would want something that spans that where the person can dig into work that spans across all of the locations that we have.
It has been my experience that year-long fellows have not only been able to touch base with other year-long fellows who are simultaneously, but also former fellows who are now just NRDC employees. So thinking about how the teams connect, thinking about, and there has been a gravitation, sorry, I realize I'm off camera, but I'm making eye contact with you, Sam. There has been a gravitation for like EV and or electric vehicle and regulation work in the New York office, that there have been several fellows in a row that have done that work. In terms of Annie Menondo, like in terms of specifically the Chicago office, I know that it's been grid, like Midwest grid things in particular. But there has also been part of the portfolio where fellows have come in maybe with a specific interest in a part of the job description, and also there's a growth to what some of the other work might be, some of the other projects might be that align with the interest of that really specific person, that specific fellow as well. So job descriptions will tell.
Hi, I'm Scott. Thanks for coming to talk to us. I'm wondering what sorts of previous projects have been really successful, and what sorts of skills were important for the fellows to make those projects work, or just like what skills they brought in that were useful in the project.
Yeah, I can speak to that a little bit. I'd say a variety of skills, both technical and a little bit more interpersonal and writing oriented. So I'll just give maybe 4 examples. So when I was a Schneider Fellow 14 years ago, it was the economics of clean energy were very different. It was right around the time that Solyndra failed. And Republicans were saying that clean energy will never be a viable industry. So my manager thought that it would be helpful to have examples of successful clean energy companies. So he had me cold call 40 businesses in Ohio and Michigan, clean energy companies, energy efficiency companies, like CFL light bulb manufacturers, LED, omnidirectional LED inventors, and go on a road trip and visit all of these companies and write case studies. So I think the skill set for that was writing, interviewing. I had taken some journalism classes, so that helped with that. I worked really closely with a year-long Schneider Fellow a couple years ago who had recently graduated from poli-sci major, and she had really good kind of background in politics and policy, and she did some really good synthesis and research on cap and trade, on a kind of affordability, and I think her skill set she was a very strong reader, researcher, synthesizer, and both of the fellows that I've worked with over the last couple summers had really strong technical skills, and were proficient in R and Excel, and were able to kind of put together models to show to test different scenarios around what the levelized cost of heat from on-site geothermal would be compared to electricity, compared to gas, to help kind of inform some of the recommendations we're making about how to clean up industrial heat.
I have a really practical, boring question, so apologies for that. But when you apply to NRDC, do you just send in one application and select which of the different positions you're interested in, or is it a separate application for each of the various positions?
I can probably answer that question from the Stanford's end because Stanford is collecting the applications. So I think what we're doing this year is there'll be one solo listing for all of the 7 summer positions at NRDC. And then you can pick up to 3 to rank. Same with EDF. There are 9 positions at EDF, but you can rank up to 3. So we are limiting it a little bit. We don't want to spend your entire winter quarter writing cover letter. And so that's how it's going to be, like a different cover letter for each of the positions that you're interested in.
Different cover letter for each of the positions within.
You can, I mean, yeah, because there'll be 7 different job descriptions for NRDC, and the most successful cover letters are tailored.
Of course,
Yeah,
Okay.
so yeah.
Perfect, thank you.
Same for the year long.
Oh. Also, like, so can you apply to both the summer and the 1 year, or is it just one or the other?
You can do both. If you get both, you have to pick, but you can apply to both.
I have a question. Thank you for coming out to talk to us. I was wondering, due to myself being a first year undergrad, I was wondering if the requirement for like research skills are like really emphasized. If I don't have any of that, could I learn like on the job, like that you had mentioned?
I'm happy to answer that. And Lauren, feel free to correct me if you think I'm wrong. But I think that we understand that, and we're also looking to, it's part of how we're looking to develop and using this opportunity to develop you all as well, is that there's opportunity to learn researching on the job, especially for our summer fellowship program.
Yeah, I think that's right. And I think it depends on the manager and the team a little bit, what kind of skill set they're looking for. So yeah, I would go ahead and apply and try, and see how it goes.
We've had Frosh get Schneider. I mean, it's a little bit harder because you're applying with doctoral students in some cases, but we have had Frosh get it. So definitely put your head in the ring.
I'll just say really briefly that knowing that there might be, say, doctoral students in the pool, don't let that be discouraging if you're an undergrad. Different managers are looking for different skill sets and different levels of expertise to fill specific needs. Something that is really well suited for someone that's maybe had 2 years of research experience as an undergrad, or say, like, we have people from any of these degree programs get these roles. So like, just managers are looking for different things. Don't let that be discouraging, please.
And Uncle Audrey, if he can help you with your application, he's our peer advisor. We have a team of peer advisors at the Haas Center who can help you craft your cover letter, give you some feedback, all the good things.
Hi, I'm a first year undergrad student host, and I'm planning to study mechanical engineering. And with sustainability being like sort of a prevalent topic in the field, I wanted to ask how much of like the work in your programs are have technical work in them, since that's sort of my expertise, versus like how much of it is policy.
Yeah, I would say that technical work in science like is crucial to inform our policy positions. So several folks that I've worked with have engineering backgrounds. I think they've been chemical. Actually, I think I worked with an intern who was a mechanical engineer undergrad. So I actually think that having that really solid set of quantitative skills is really useful to inform our policy positions, especially in the grid. Grid decarbonization is very technical.
Thank you.
We have one more slide just to wrap up, but thank you so much, Sam and Lauren, for joining us. Okay. Yes,
The camera's not tracking you.
I know. But Katrina's trying to say hi. Yeah. Okay, we just have one last slide to wrap up. Yes. Yeah. Okay, so just some last things, and we will be sending, if you have tapped in, you'll get this slide deck, so please remember to sign in. So in addition to the Schneider Fellowship, there are a lot of other summer fellows opportunities for you all to consider. For example, there's the Schultz Energy Fellowships, that's also for the summer, and that's working with government agencies. It's like the sister program to Schneider, because Schneider is NGOs and nonprofits, and Schultz is government agencies. We're actually having a joint info session with them in January, if you would like to come and get more lunch. And it's going to be at Y2E2, so probably closer to where your classes are. And then we also have other summer fellowship opportunities from our campus partners, like the Environment and Policy internships through the Woods Institute and SIG, the Energy Startup Internships and Energy Impact Fellowships through the Tomcat Center, the Lane Internships, PCJ and the Bay Fellowships, Earth Systems Public Fellowship. So lots of things in the sustainability sector. And then we have our big fair coming up on Friday, the Cardinal Quarter Opportunities Fair. This Friday, 12:30 to 2:30 at Tresseter. All of these programs will be labeling there. So just come and talk to everybody all at the same time on Friday. And then Ben can talk about the post-grad opportunities that are available.
Yes, so in particular, if you are applying to the year-long Schneider, we have coordinated this workshop with the Hume Center for Writing and Speaking for you. If you're applying to the Gardner Fellowship as well, it's also for you. The purpose of that is maybe this is the first kind of fellowship like this you've applied for. So they have developed a workshop specifically for our fellows, for our prospective fellows that are applying to this, to help you write that persuasive autobiographical sort of writing that would be your application. So that's happening on the 19th, which I believe is next Wednesday from 5 to 6, one floor up here at the Haas Center. But for those of you that are interested in the year-long, that are an undergrad or co-term, that are interested in the year-long Schneider, I also want to pub the Gardner Fellowship. The Gardner Fellowship is open-ended. You apply with ideas about where you want to work and the work you want to be doing, how it's going to set you up for your future. And that is what it is assessed on. After you receive the fellowship or offered it and receive it, and there are 3 recipients each year, I work with each of those fellows really closely throughout spring quarter to make it happen. Fellows get placed everywhere you can think of within the US, national, federal, NGOs, community organizing spaces, like anything you can think of, it is a tool for that. So please, I will stick around. Please ask me questions. I direct that program as well as the year-long. And then the Community Impact Fellowship, they're like 20 plus fellows. So that is graduating students from undergrad or co-term programs that are getting a first post-Stanford job in the public service space. I'm coordinating all of those roles and working with government agencies and nonprofits to basically help promote and recruit students directly into those roles for them to, like NRDC, assess who they would want to consider for that role. So I oversee a cohort of like 30 fellows in a given year that are all those graduated students that are doing cool things in the world. So if you want advising on any of those things, or you're thinking about jobs more broadly, I'm always glad to do individual advising as well. That's the Cardinal Careers team. That's me.
I think that's the end of our presentation, but we do have some time if you have any questions that you would like to ask us now, or we will be sticking around as well, and Katrina as well, if you'd like to ask about her experience applying and working.
Thank you for coming.
Please come on Friday for our fair.